Hello, my name is Ted Sass. I live in Omaha, Nebraska, and thank you for taking a few of your minutes to view my Drone Association USA video. I've been a salesperson all of my life, many years, and along about 1998, after I'd been beating myself up and down the highways and byways of the USA, traveling nationally, regionally, locally, using airplanes, using cars, using trucks. Whatever I needed to use to sell, I used. After many years of doing that, decades, in 1998, I realized that I was wasting a lot of time looking at windshields and sitting in airports, waiting for the next airplane to go out and or come in. And so I decided I didn't know anything about the internet. I'd watched it develop for many years, several years. Didn't know anything about it, but I talked to a lot of people and realized that you could get to talk to a lot more people using the internet than you could driving to see them or flying to see them to talk about your sales programs. So in 1998, I started working on the internet, and after a few years, I started to develop a little bit of expertise in developing websites. And I'm not a website designer by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not a I'm not a professional graphics designer. I'm self-taught on everything I do, and but I reasoned that if I were to communicate my ideas, my business ideas, my business plans, if I were to communicate those, I needed a way to do it without investing a lot of money and paying people to help me. So I learned how to build my graphics, create my graphics, and write my own copy for my websites and create my own websites so that I could simply use, what for want of a better word, use a prototype website to help me to explain my ideas. I've always been a creative type of individual and always thinking of new ways to do things. And so my ideas are all pretty much exclusive related to my business plan. And to center up on this Drone Projects USA concept that's associated with my Drone Association USA, uh, I started seeing the drone thing come into the marketing possibilities when I started seeing a lot of the drone news items appear in the media. And almost every day there was some comment, some news item, some article about the drones. And this was, way back uh, in the early, well, for sure, early 2000s, and into then the mid 2000s. And so I decided to center up. It was 2013 when I really started getting seriously thinking about a business plan associated with my other original business concepts for local independent business owners, not franchises, not national companies, not regional companies, but local independent business owners. There's over 32 million of those. So, and there's only a few thousand of the other category. Even when you start talking about all franchises, you're still just a few percentage points of the total of 32 million independent business owners. So when you're selling, it just makes sense to me that you want to have your largest possible prospect list. So, and all independent business owners, guess what? They're all located where all the people are. And so the ultimate person that you talk to in selling is the customer. The one that spends the money and buys the products and services in every city in the USA. And that's where all the local independent business owners are at. Now, national companies aren't in every city, and regional companies aren't in every city. Franchises have really, yeah, they've really drilled down into the smaller communities, but as a whole and taken as a comparison against all the other local businesses in a city, compared to just the few franchises there are even in the smaller cities, the local independent business owners far outnumber the local franchise owners. Now, I understand about franchises, believe me, because I bought 10 of them in 1970 or 1969. I bought 10 local franchises in Omaha, Nebraska, of one of the, if the largest franchisor, I think still today, maybe not the largest, but certainly one of the top 10, International Dairy Queen. Well, I bought 10 franchises, and that was way back in 1969. But I quickly learned that the reason why I don't target franchise owners is because I quickly learned that franchise owners, the franchise is not for, everybody thinks it's for the franchisee, but it's really, I learned it's not for the franchisee, it's for the franchisor. They're the ones that they basically control your life when you get in business with them. I like the idea of being in business as an independent. And that way I can bob and weave a lot easier than I can, as long as I, follow the federal and state and local laws. I'm pretty much on my own. I can do what I think is best for my business and for my customers. So that's the way I like to go, and that's the way I target all my business plans. And I sell a marketing sales program that's designed to get customers for my for my members, and I sell a membership. I organize all my business plans around a brand that I have called Zip Code Associates. And the reason I picked that brand is because zip codes and carrier routes for zip codes are in every city in the United States. So there again, I've got a target organized business prospect list simply by following the franchise or following the zip code targeting of where businesses are located in cities. And it's really interesting because wherever those businesses are, clustered around them are their customers in zip codes and carrier routes in zip codes, aren't they? So when it comes to efficiency, if you're going to sell to people, it really makes more sense to target the ones that are closest to your business first, and then worry about getting the rest of them. Now, for most small independent business owners, if they really get down and are honest with themselves, they got more customers right there in the zip code where their business is located, generally speaking. Now, I know there's exceptions, but generally speaking, for most businesses, and especially the businesses in categories where there's a lot more of the category of the business. In other words, take the food business. There's every kind of restaurant you can imagine. And a lot of restaurants try to reach out all over the city. Franchises, of course, they when I started in the franchise business, they were just waking up to the fact, this is back in, like I say, back in the 1969, they were just waking up to the fact that they had been doing it all wrong. They've been selling franchise territories. In other words, they would allow a franchisee to buy a whole county, and then they would depend on that franchisee to put in all the franchise stores around in that county that they could. But businessmen are in some ways are a little bit short-sighted, because what happened, a lot of them, they would develop several stores and then they start making a lot of money and they kind of stop developing stores because they got income adjusted. That's a pitfall that a lot of businessmen fall into. They start making a lot of money and they forget about the fact they got competition. So they kind of let their guard down. Before they know it, their business starts going south. And anyway, I digress. So the idea of my business plan is simply to sell memberships on an exclusive basis by zip codes. And then I've developed a lot of concepts that are original related to that, because of the fact that there's more customers that can be driven to my business owners because of the benefits of my program than the competition who are not members. And there's plenty of customers to go around, so that the way my business plan is designed, I can center up on sub business owners within a chapter city, within the zip codes in the chapter cities. Now that kind of gets a little detailed, and this video is not designed to explain all that, but it's a very simple concept, but it centers up on the idea of exclusivity. In other words, the typical business person isn't thinking in terms of being able to increase market share. They're more looking at getting customers onesie twosies. And my business plan is designed to go after market share, because my business plans, because of the exclusivity, because of the originalities, because of the unique benefits like weekly cash awards that the franchises can't offer, the other local independent business owners in a chapter city of my memberships, their competitors can't offer weekly cash awards the way my program is organized. And how this all ties into Drone Projects USA is that, and Drone Association USA, is that the drone benefits and opportunities are vast, and we see that by the development of the drone industry. It's gone up way into the billions. Just it's of course, one of the fastest growing industries in the world. And the problem is that because of the way the typical marketer has been trained in the colleges of the last 20, 30 years, they don't think in terms of exclusivity. I mean, that's just something that is a foreign, because of the big media control of the marketing and communication systems, and because of the fact that marketing teaching over the last 30 years or so, has even longer, has funneled down to the point where it's not anything like it. Marketing was originally taught and designed to perform benefits for companies. And when you distort things, all sorts of bad things happen. We see the biggest companies today failing because they can't make the marketing work. They can't. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars just to maintain market share and forget about getting new business because their competitors are biting at their heels all the time. Because of competition, you can't build a box so big that you can't find the bathroom in the box. I mean, you've got to know where the bathroom is, and at all times. So, uh, building big business is good, but it has its point where it's become self-defeating. Everybody doesn't live in the same city, and when you start piling on services on top of services on top of services, and you get to the point where you've got to have a vast distribution system, and that vast distribution system has to be constantly resupplied and then pushed out to all the retail store. It gets to the point where, and we talk about economy of some of the bigger stores, and the fact that they advertise they have the lowest prices. Well, lowest compared to what? I mean, this is the thing that differentiation is always the focal point when you start mincing words. You have to get down, and words have meanings. So when you say the lowest price, well, lowest price compared to what? You have to look at the quality, you have to look at the service, you have to look at all the aspects of doing business. And we know for a fact, we've seen the biggest corporations in the country. We've seen them fail. We've seen them go out of existence. And right now, we're seeing the biggest that there are failing, or at least, if not to the point. I mean, one of the biggest, one of the greatest things since I'm a little experienced in the broadcast business, I sold nationally to broadcast owners, property owners, radio and television for a while back in the 70s, and travel all over talking to them about a unique uh, branded program that they would buy as a franchise to help them sell their local radio spots to local businesses. And uh, when I learned about that radio business, I learned about, and the TV business, I learned about, the industry itself. And here recently, I've noticed that there's one of the largest, I think either the first or second largest radio conglomerate in the United States is that far away from bankruptcy right now because of all of the concept of acquisitions and mergers and the debt that is taken on with the assuming that if you have more stations, you're going to sell more spots. Well, the problem with that is the bigger radio and TV gets, the more they have operating costs, the more personnel, and the more uh, building costs, the more facility cost, equipment cost. Everything that you touch is more expensive when you're bigger. And the problem is when you're bigger and you have your costs rising, you have to sell your spots, your radio commercials at a higher price so you can still make a profit. Well, a curious thing happens when you raise the price, fewer and fewer businesses are able to afford the spots they have to buy in order to advertise. So what has happened is that with this company and a lot of other companies, the bigger they get, the more operating costs they have, and the more expense that they have to cover with their top selling price. And that drills down. If they don't, if they're not able to continue to grow and get more sales at that higher cost, uh, then they end up in a bad situation. They can't make the two ends come together when it comes to the bottom line to make a profit. And if you're a corporate uh, entity, their stockholders are subsidizing the failure. and the employees are subsidizing the failures. Because if the business is not growing aggressively and dynamically, they're not able to give the raises to the employees that are actually doing the work that causes the growth. And the stockholders are not able to get the kind of return on their investment in the stock of these companies that are not dynamically. And I'm not sure there's companies in segments that are growing dynamically and aggressively, but overall, the overall picture is dull for the stockholder, in my opinion. So, and if it gets down to the point that you have to be an expert at picking stocks, well, then that opens the door to a lot of what I call distortion of services, which your stockbrokers and so forth are the ones that clip the coupons because they're the insiders. They know how to read everything, and they know that when people buy stocks, it's not a question of across the board good returns. It's a question of hit and miss. It's almost like throwing darts on a dartboard to see if you're going to get a good return. And hopefully we're seeing a little bit of that coming back now because of our executive leadership in our federal executive branch, and I think that's good because a successful businessman, a uniquely successful businessman, knows a whole lot more about how to run a big enterprise than somebody that's never created a job, or if he has, he's had a easy entry into a business in a local city where he's from or state because of his family, and so on and so forth. And which you get to see a lot of that. And or a guy gets successful in local business and he gets a little notoriety, so he starts thinking, well, maybe I should go into politics. The idea of politics is to serve everybody, not special interests. So anyway, I don't want to get started on that. Anyway, getting back to Drone Association USA, uh, what this really amounts to is my business plans are all exclusive and they're all designed to provide benefits to my local members, and the local membership cost is under $500 a year, and he gets all the benefits. And when you start talking about drone association subset within my business plan, and you have to remember now this is organized by chapter cities in zip codes in chapter cities and drilled way down to the carrier route in chapter cities. So when you start talking about drone services, memberships, and where it's the benefits of the drone projects are fungible within the zip code associates membership, meaning that when you sign up as a zip code associate member under one subset of my business plan, your business automatically qualifies for and allows you access to the other subset business benefits under zip code associates. You see, because really when you think about it, benefits in a membership are fungible for members. That is to say, one benefit is just as good for one business as it is for another in that membership. Well, if you broaden your perspective and you start talking about different benefits of different memberships, and when you can organize it in a way because of the vast potential of members in the whole USA, then you can start to think about the fungible benefits for all the members, even though one subset of members is individual within itself and operates for the customer in a way that provides customer benefits. And you can still move over then and do the same benefits because of the fungible nature of benefits. Doesn't matter whether one membership group is giving away all the benefits of all the subsets or not. The only question is there enough money coming in to allow that to happen for each member business that he can provide to all the customers and still keep it exclusive? That is to say, even in the advancement of my subset business plans, you still are able to join one membership subset at under 500 a year, and that automatically gets you access to all the other subsets in your city or nationally, and each one of them are drilled into categorical benefit fungibility. That is to say, all certain categories of businesses enjoy all the benefits of all of my business subset plans, even though they only joined one category of subset. So I know that sounds a little, a first time you hear an idea that you never heard before, you don't know the idea, but if you hear enough of the good stuff in the idea, it starts your curiosity running, and you start saying, that's sort of interesting. Take a look at that. So, but that's the idea of this video, is to give you enough information at least so that you can start to realize that, for example, if you've got a business program that offers weekly cash awards that none of your competitors can offer, in your zip code and area where you have more customers than you can take care of, generally speaking, anyway, and you can offer weekly cash awards that are significant and to customers by joining together with all the other business members who are approved in that category, because of the fact that when you get a bunch of them putting in under $500 a year and it's coming in weekly, therefore that under 500 is divided up by 52 weeks of the year where you pay in your membership fee. So that way in your city, every week you've got a pile of cash to give away, right? That your competitors can't give away and don't have. And then take it one step further. The other businessmen in categories in that same city sign up for Drone Association USA. Well, then that allows the businesses in that subset category of benefits to offer benefits to other businesses and other consumers in the drone industry area of all the different services that can be offered, and at the same time offer weekly cash awards, because there's enough of each one of the businesses in each subset in each city across the United States that the income is phenomenal in each one of the subsets. And so, the old saying is, all it takes is money, And so, if you got enough business members in each one of my subsets, then you're able to offer services, and you can do it on a local basis, and you can do it in a way that you're growing customers, because you're able to get customers away as a member of my business plans exclusively in your city. You're able to draw customers away because people aren't stupid. I mean, they're not going to keep spending money at businesses they've been spending money at when they can move over to your business and get better benefits, weekly cash awards, and get drone services and so forth, and get them at the same price or less. and still get the weekly cash awards. Actually, in the drone services, one of the things that got me into this is I could see. I started up with my drone branding way back in 2013. That's over 5 years ago, so I think I'm probably one of the earliest entrepreneurs, if not, I'm certainly maybe not the earliest, but I think I'm one of the earliest, and I know that I'm have got the most exclusive business plan in the drone industry today, and have had because of the way that I've approached the marketing in a way that merges opportunities, merges businesses together with drone services benefits. Whereas the industry itself, although very fractured in the sense that there's a lot of them popping up all over the country offering services, none of them have merged together to be able to offer services at the local level in the way that my business plan does, and certainly not having fungibility and combining it with other business plans that operate in different industries, completely different industries, so that the efficiency is absolutely phenomenal. And the effectiveness obviously is great because it's in every city where you've got a chapter city membership under my business plan, operating under my brands that are exclusive, of course, and also branded coupons. I have America Again trend coupons. I have gas pond coupons for independent convenience stores that sell gas, and I have cloverleaf coupons for those businesses, independent business owners that are operating around the exits and entrances of all our superhighways that ring cities and across the country that tend to be a good economic area because of the traffic of the on and off ramps across our super ringed superhighways around our cities and across the country. So Cloverleaf coupons is a way to take advantage of that location and that traffic by offering exclusive coupons only to the memberships that are parts of my membership. The other quick thing I'm going to mention before I close off this video is that I have developed a concept called capitalism zero profit. And what that means is that I have a boomerang membership income plan. And what that means is that all the money that the members pay in by written agreement and published on the internet website is 100% returned to the members. So that it's not a nonprofit because the idea is for my businessmen and women who are members to be able to gain a market share, get new customers at a cost that's they can get a good return on their investment and make a profit. So it's a marketing program. It's a membership marketing program for designed to get business, to get customers, and so it's a profit program for the members. But the marketing program, the selling program, is nonprofit. It's capitalism, and it's nonprofit because all the money by written agreement is returned to the membership. Now, how are you going to validate that? How are you going to certify that member agreement? It's very simple. I have a brand called CPA, Certified Public Accountant, Verified, CPA Verified, and CPA audits online. And that concept is simple. Now look, the government takes the certified public, as long as a certified public accountant signs off on a tax return, that's a pretty good indication that's not going to get audited because if a CPA signs off on it, it better be best practices accounting. And there's some of them that, they go right up to the line, and so they might be looked at and got a second look from the IRS. But if a CPA files a tax return, now they pick a certain number of them to audit regardless, especially the high income people. We've heard enough about about that with our president, and but nevertheless, the CPA is by the IRS is considered to be a validation of the tax return. Okay, so in my membership, I simply have the membership contract with a CPA firm to do a audit to do an audit on all the membership income, and then run a financial statement and publish it online. That way, the members can see with a CPA signing off on this, which is acceptable to the IRS, so it should be acceptable to the members, that the membership agreement has been lived up to. Okay, and the audits are done on a monthly basis, or certainly a quarterly basis, so that members can constantly be validated related to their acceptance that the membership agreement is being lived up to. Now, nobody sells advertising, gives all the advertising money back that they charge for the advertising. Nobody does that, but my plan does do that. Now, I even take it down to the point where businessmen can see a budget for the income, so that of the 500, less than 500 that my business plan costs, and it's fungible from category of benefit to category of benefit for different categories of membership plans that I offer. There's budgets. There's a budget established so that each dollar is spent wisely and effectively, and there's no nonsense, there's no waste, there's no fraud, there's no abuse. 15% goes to member acquisition, 15% goes to the IT, internet related services, and 50% goes for the categorical benefit, whether it's weekly cash awards or drone services or whatever it is in each subset. And you remember that all those different 50% then are fungible back and forth between members, and they're all drilled down to zip codes within memberships. And and then 20% is for attorney fees and for the CPA fees, costs, and for any miscellaneous expense that the membership needs to be able to bring to the operation in order to make it more effective for the total members. So when you add up 20, 50, 15, 15, that's 100%. And it's all laid out on the financial statement that CPA, that's the contractor that's hired for the membership, is publishing online. So that gives you a little bit of an overview in this long video, I might say, probably. Not intentionally long, but just has to be that way. A lot of details. And you'll have questions, I'm sure. And so what I've done is provide you with a way to respond back to me with questions. And it's an email marketing list. And the email information that I look for is simply an email address to get the ball rolling. That tips me off to the fact that you've got questions. You send in the email, you fill out the form there on my little introductory prototype website, and you're able then to get a return back from me. So we establish an email connection, and then if it goes further and you want to start talking about developing memberships in cities across the country, That's the purpose of the connection so that we can communicate. This is for business owners, and this is a way that with my plan, I avoid all the costs of with that 15% membership acquisition. That's a fair amount of money when you start looking at the potential for memberships. But when you start hiring call centers and start hiring a lot of salespeople, or start doing a lot of direct mail, all that cost in relationship to the return, how many business members can be developed from that kind of expense. It quickly gets out of the area of efficiency. What my my approach is to be able to give enough information that makes the business owner curious. Okay, and he starts to see the cloud here of benefit that forms over all of my video presentation, so that he says, "Wait a minute, I want to look into that deal. I want more. I want to get more associated." Well, then you can take advantage of the business of being able to talk to a bunch of people all at once over the internet using Skype, and everybody can ask any question they want, and they get right down and get the details of how this thing gets going. And then you get a bunch of people business owners in a city, and you sign them up all at once. Boom, all of a sudden you got the cash there coming in every week to hire the website contractors to put up the website for that group in that city, and to hire the CPA for that city or a group of cities. But don't you see, using the internet and the old story, word of mouth advertising is the cheapest and it's the best. And by cheap, I don't mean cheap in the sense it's not worth anything, but cheap in the sense is that it's worth so much, and yet it doesn't cost anything, because Skype is free to Skype Skype members. You join up to Skype, and you can talk to other Skype members at no cost. Now, that's a pretty good deal. And so, at convenient times, you fill out that form on the website, and you got questions, and then we can get together, and you find out that we can get together on a Skype call. The president, the communications office up in D.C. is, if you notice, I don't know if you watch any of the press briefings of the White House communications, but they've started using Skype. It was the first time that I know of. They're using Skype right in the press briefings, where the reporters, all the controlled media is sitting there in the press briefing room and hammering the poor Sean Spicer or Ms. Huckabee, Sarah Huckabee, I think her name is Sanders. And excuse me, and I apologize if I got that wrong, her name, but she does a great job, and I think Sean Spicer does a great job. But they've even started letting reporters from around in different cities and different TV stations and radio stations use Skype in order to connect up with Spicer and ask him questions from their area, rather than having to be right there in the press room. So that sort of thing is the way that my deal works, is that I use Skype rather than get into all that cost of direct mail and call centers, and because you have to pay them people a profit, and then plus their costs of doing the communicating, and that none of that exists where the way that I've designed it, so that I use the Skype and the same way with collecting the membership money. Comes in at the rate of $9 a week for a member that's approved, and I got an exclusive. and I use PayPal because PayPal is universal. It's it's well respected, and it's a centralized place for the CPA to go to grab all the income information, and all the expenses are run through the Skype that's paid in. The PayPal account that's paid in, all the money that's used to pay out for services for the membership group is there at the PayPal account, and so it's easy for the CPA to go there and get that financial information to run the audit. Okay, so I think I better wrap her up for now. I keep sliding down lower and lower in my chair here. I'm getting real comfortable. And, but besides that, I think I've run out my time of your that you have available to listen to this. So I look forward to speaking with you more and more on Skype. And so thank you so much for taking your time to listen to my long-winded overview of the subset within my zip code associates business plan called Drone Association USA and Drone Projects USA. Thank you again.